Hi. Hi. I told you. Once the flow starts, it's just where we are. I love it here though. I love it here. So I was thinking about something. And really I wasn't thinking, it just hit me, bam, like a wonderful download, but it was a reminder. It took me back to my awakening when it first began for me, or when I first realized um I don't even want to say it like that because it didn't happen like that. So let me just start here. Anytime I learn something new, or I get an epiphany about something, like when I used to be when I used to read the Bible, because I used to be a part of religion, and now I'm free. I like it here though. When I first started to tap into a part of me that I didn't even know it had existed, because it was buried down underneath traditions and all the, I want to say shit, but I'll just say stuff, although I said shit, that I was taught, that I received inside of me growing up. And so it just got buried and buried and buried. But I used to read the Bible a lot. And every time I would read the Bible, I would get a new epiphany. Like, I could read the same verse over and over, right? And I'll get a new message out of it, And every time I would get a new message, I would share that message. I would find somebody to tell, because I couldn't contain it. I couldn't hold that. Like, it was just so much, and it was so exciting that I just really wanted other people to feel that. I just be wanting people to feel what I feel inside of me, because it just, oh man, this vibration is so amazing, But I didn't know that's what it was then. I had no idea what it was, because no one else knew. And maybe they didn't feel that. That's why they couldn't tell me, you know? So, no judgment, no judgment. And you'll see me look to the side, because my window is at the front of the house, so there's vehicles that's constantly driving by, and people walking by, and all kind of good old stuff happening out there. So, but when I first started out, I literally would just write. I created a channel, or a group, a page, I don't know, something. I didn't even, I was just doing something. It was in 2016. Like, I wasn't even understanding Facebook like that. You know what I mean? Like, somebody at the door. I wasn't really understanding how to use Facebook. You know what I mean? But I remember creating, I don't know if it was a page or a group, and it's still on there. It's called Flow Divine Inner Wisdom. And I was just, everything that I was learning about myself, or not learning, I was recalling, because everything we need to know is inside of us. Everything that we need to know is already inside of us. And we're just recalling it once we release the distraction, all the distraction, all the stuff, all the stuff. And so I remember just sharing everything. I would write, I mean, the messages, just like today. Like, I've been just 3 videos already, okay? But just like today, those messages would come, but instead of a video, I was writing. And so I would just write and write and write and write and write. I have so many books full of writings, and I'm going to eventually, actually, I've already turned some of them into books. But literally, I started to, process this thing like, dang, I'm so happy that I'm returning back to that energy. Because what ended up happening, which was understand that everything happens for a reason, and it needed to happen so I could see clearly what was going on in my universe, in my world, meaning everything and everybody around me. I had to see them for who they were so I can stop giving out of my well to those that were only there to drain it. They had no intention to pour into the well, just to empty the well, right? Remember the last message about, seeing someone else's power and wanting to dim it, seeing their light and wanting to dim it? Yeah, that's what was going on. But for such a time as this, I have a first house in Aquarius, and we are in the age of Aquarius. Now imagine that. The first house is you. It is your personality, it's how you show up in the world. That's why I share so much. Because it is about humanity. And more than that, it's about who we are outside of these bodysuits we wear. Before we came, when we leave, that essence is who you are. Yeah. So, but I remember how, you know, certain family members would have the audacity to say, what do you believe in? Do you even believe in God? Huh? What an insult. I am that. I am that which I come from. And the fact that you don't know that that's where you come from, that's who you are, that's what you should be questioning. Stand in the mirror and ask yourself that. Ask yourself that question. So it actually took me away from posting those messages, and my message completely changed. My message then became about, I'm sorry, I was checking to see if the mic was on because I remember I cut it off and I didn't recall cutting it back on, but I guess it cut itself on. Um, but the message became about literally seeing everything and everybody and the mask that they wore and the lies that were taught and all these titles and schemes and scams and all of this buffoonery, all of this stuff in the matrix, all this stuff created under the patriarchy, the 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 flip switch they did on us. Feminine came first. The woman is first. Without the woman, there is no creation. Do you understand? Maybe you don't, maybe you do. But that's between you and you. Okay? So, but what it did is it provided the information, all of the things that I went through, provided the details for how I'm going to reach out to those in the world. So thank you. I just want to say thank you. I want to give my gratitude to everyone who forced themselves into the story in a way to where I could not deny what I was experiencing, what I was feeling, confirming what I knew within myself the whole time. Thank you. I just want to say thank you because that's about all the accolades you're going to get from anything that I create. Thank you for providing the information, the data. Thank you. And it's all inside of me. So I don't need to read a book, and I don't need to get a certificate, and I don't need to do anything that this matrix requires people to do, because I lived it. I lived it. And so at any moment, at any point, I can have the conversation and not feel tongue tied and feel like I'm forgetting anything, because it's all in me and I recall it effortlessly. Yeah. So watch out for the movies. They're coming too. Series, all that good old stuff. But um so the message went from being about self-love and self-care. And you'll notice, just look at it. Look at my Facebook page. Just follow the stream. It'll give you the story, really. Because literally it went from that, although I was still living that and understanding that, but my messages was about seeing the lie, seeing the untruth, because that became my passion. My passion became owning my truth in the face of adversity, in the face of evilness, in the face of deception, of wickedness. That became my message. And so, if you mishandled my energy, if you denied yourself the opportunity to get to know the essence of me and reside in the higher archetypal energy of me because of your ego, then accept that reality and accept that you are going to show up somewhere in the book, somewhere in some teachings. Don't feel some kind of way because of how you showed up in my life. That was a choice you made. I always showed up as love, even as you were spitting in my face. I always showed up as love, even when you were slapping me on my hand. I don't even want to say it like that, because it was so much more than that. It was so much more than a slap. You know, it's kind of like when somebody say, um, your daughter is doing something, or your child is doing something, and you never whoop them, but you decide you're going to whoop them in front of everybody, and you never whoop them because of your ego, because of your loss, because of the evil you dwell in. You have to take it out on somebody, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so don't feel any kind of way. You should have just let me stay where I was. You should have just allowed me to continue to love God and express who I am, the I am that you cannot access, the access that you're not willing to receive. But since you didn't, I just want you to know I still love you. I forgive you from over here where I be. But you're going to be all right. Or you won't. But it's a choice that you get to make. You get to choose how you reside inside of you. When the tower comes tumbling down, and I don't even have to mention your name, but when you read it, you'll know that it's you. You'll know that you delivered that experience, that data for that book, for that chapter, for that video, for that movie, for that series. Oh my God, it's so big. I love you all. Be blessed and just understand your life is just offering data to you. And you can choose to do what you want with that data, but just make sure it's righteous. Okay? Stay righteous. I love you. Bye.